Hey guys, tonight we're diving into something that nearly everyone on Earth has heard of, yet few truly understand the complete history of Black Friday. From its mysterious origins in the 19th century to the billion-dollar shopping frenzy we know today, Black Friday has shaped not only how we buy, but how we think about the holidays, business, and even time itself. So before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy the type of content that merges myth and mystery. And hey, let us know from where you're watching and what time it is for you right now. It's time now to dim the lights, settle in, and let's cover what we have for tonight together. When we hear the term Black Friday today, most of us immediately picture overflowing shopping carts, lines stretching around store blocks, and the irresistible lure of discounts. It's a day synonymous with shopping chaos, retail excitement, and that special kind of anticipation only a limited time deal can bring. But the story of Black Friday is far deeper, richer, and far more fascinating than just discounts and doorbusters. To truly understand the phenomenon, we first need to peel back the layers and examine what the term itself really means. The phrase Black Friday didn't originate as a celebration of shopping or consumerism. In fact, it began with a decidedly negative connotation. The black in Black Friday originally symbolized something far darker than flashing sales signs and festive music in malls. It wasn't a marker of joy, profit, or holiday spirit. Instead, it was a symbol of misfortune, chaos, and loss. To appreciate how a term so ominous eventually transformed into the most significant shopping day of the year, we need to understand its earliest uses and the socio-economic contexts surrounding it. The earliest documented use of the term Black Friday traces back to September 24th, 1869, in the United States. This was a time when America was still recovering from the Civil War and navigating the unsteady waters of post-war industrialization. On this particular day, two speculators, Jay Gould and James Fisk, attempted to corner the gold market. Their scheme was audacious. By buying enormous quantities of gold, they hoped to manipulate the market and force prices to skyrocket, ultimately allowing them to sell at a massive profit. However, the plan went disastrously wrong. The government, aware of the manipulation, intervened, causing gold prices to collapse. Panic ensued on Wall Street. Investors, who had bet heavily on gold-faced ruin, fortunes evaporated overnight, and economic chaos spread. Newspapers across the country reported on the catastrophe, and one phrase emerged to capture the collective despair: Black Friday. Here, black was literally a representation of financial ruin, a dark day in American economic history. Interestingly, this original usage of the term had nothing to do with shopping or consumer culture. It was purely financial, tied to speculation, greed, and the precariousness of markets. The image of chaos, panic, and public distress dominated the narrative. People feared the term and avoided it, associating it with misfortune rather than opportunity. In this sense, Black Friday was a day of caution, not celebration. Fast forward several decades, and the phrase underwent a remarkable transformation. By the mid-20th century, Black Friday had taken on an entirely different meaning. one rooted in social behavior rather than financial collapse. This shift occurred in Philadelphia during the 1950s and 1960s, when the term began being applied to the day after Thanksgiving. At this time, the city's police officers and local authorities noticed a pattern. On the day following Thanksgiving, the streets of Philadelphia would become overwhelmingly crowded with shoppers and tourists. The influx of people was particularly linked to two events: holiday shopping and the annual Army-Navy football game, which drew massive crowds. For the police, the day was a nightmare. They faced endless traffic jams, pedestrian congestion, and a surge in shoplifting incidents. The volume of activity was so extreme that it felt like a disaster unfolding daily right in the heart of the city. To capture this sense of unavoidable chaos, officers began referring to the day as Black Friday. Here, the black wasn't about financial loss anymore, but about the dark reality of managing large crowds, stress, and logistical headaches. Philadelphia retailers, however, weren't thrilled with this nickname. They worried that associating their busiest shopping day with a term that sounded ominous might drive customers away. Attempts were made to rename it Big Friday, emphasizing growth and opportunity rather than chaos. Yet the name Black Friday had already stuck, and over time, it began to spread beyond the city. It's fascinating to consider the duality of the term at this stage. On one hand, it carried echoes of its original financial gloom, reminding us that black has long symbolized something severe or cautionary. On the other, it started to hint at the intensity and significance of the day for commerce, albeit indirectly. The combination of chaos, crowds, and excitement created a unique tension, a sense that this day was both dreaded and anticipated. This tension is central to understanding the modern perception of Black Friday. Today, the black has been reframed entirely as a positive marker. It signifies profit, opportunity, and a turning point. Retailers, in particular, embraced this reinterpretation. In accounting terms, being in the red refers to operating at a loss, while being in the black means turning a profit. By the 1980s, marketers and business strategists began promoting Black Friday as the day when retailers finally moved into profitability for the year, a stark reversal from its original connotations of despair and chaos. What's remarkable about this evolution is how flexible human language and culture can be. A term that once evoked panic and disaster slowly morphed into a symbol of celebration and opportunity, demonstrating the power of context, marketing, and collective perception. Black Friday went from a warning to a ritual, from a day of dread to a day of expectation. Even today, if you dig into the etymology, you can see traces of this layered history. When you walk into a store or scroll through online sales, you're participating in a phenomenon that carries echoes of economic panic, urban chaos, and finally, commercial triumph. It's a blend of human behavior, societal change, and economic evolution. Black Friday is not merely about buying discounted goods. It's a mirror reflecting centuries of American economic, social, and cultural history. Understanding this origin also explains why Black Friday can be so simultaneously exciting and stressful. The chaos that Philadelphia police feared is echoed in the lines, traffic, and frantic online checkouts of today. At the same time, the modern reinterpretation as a profitable, celebratory day taps into something almost instinctual: the thrill of opportunity, the satisfaction of a good deal, and the communal aspect of participating in a widely shared ritual. So, in essence, the meaning of Black Friday is complex and layered. It began as a warning, a reminder of the fragility of financial systems and the consequences of reckless ambition. It transformed into a descriptor of urban chaos and social challenge. And finally, it evolved into a day of commercial celebration, a national ritual, and a global phenomenon. Each layer adds depth, context, and intrigue, making the story of Black Friday far more than a tale about shopping. By understanding this, we gain a new perspective on something most of us take for granted every November. Black Friday is not just a day, it's a historical journey, a cultural evolution, and a fascinating case study of human behavior. It's a day where language, commerce, and society intersect in ways that are surprising, enlightening, and endlessly engaging. To truly grasp the origin of the term Black Friday, we need to travel back to a time long before bustling shopping malls, flashy advertisements, or online deals, a time when the United States was still reeling from the aftermath of the Civil War. The country was rebuilding, industries were emerging, and the economy was becoming increasingly complex. It was in this volatile context that the very first Black Friday took place, not as a shopping spectacle, but as a financial catastrophe that would be remembered in history books. The year was 1869, and the stage was set for one of the most audacious financial schemes in American history. Two men, Jay Gould and James Fisk, both notorious for their bold and often unscrupulous financial maneuvers, devised a plan to corner the gold market. At that time, gold was a major driver of economic stability and speculation. The United States government had accumulated a significant gold reserve, and the value of gold directly influenced currency stability, banking operations, and trade. Gould and Fisk realized that by manipulating gold prices, they could make an enormous profit. But the risk was monumental. Their plan was deceptively simple in concept, yet complicated in execution. Gould and Fisk began buying enormous quantities of gold, deliberately reducing supply in the open market to artificially drive up the price. The goal was to create scarcity, stir panic among other investors, and ultimately sell their hoarded gold at inflated prices. While brilliant on paper, the scheme was ethically dubious, illegal in spirit, and dangerously unstable in practice. As the two men amassed gold, the excitement and tension in the financial world grew. Brokers, bankers, and traders were watching closely, sensing that something unusual was happening. News spread that the price of gold was rising sharply, and this created a ripple effect. More investors jumped in, fearing they would miss out, while others attempted to short sell, betting that the bubble would eventually burst. The atmosphere was electric, almost theatrical, the kind of suspense that would feel familiar to anyone today who watches a market crash unfold on the news. But the brilliance of Gould and Fisk's scheme turned on them in the most dramatic way imaginable. The U.S. Treasury, aware of the manipulation, intervened by releasing large amounts of gold into the market. This sudden increase in supply caused the artificially inflated gold prices to plummet. Investors who had bet everything on rising gold prices suddenly found themselves facing catastrophic losses. The market spiraled, panic set in, and chaos engulfed Wall Street. Banks teetered on the brink of collapse, traders lost fortunes overnight, and the entire financial system experienced a shockwave that reverberated across the nation. It was on that fateful day, September 24th, 1869, that newspapers began referring to the financial disaster as Black Friday. The black, in this context, symbolized extreme danger, loss, and the literal darkening of economic prospects. Unlike the Black Friday we know today, this was not a day of celebration or excitement. It was a day of terror, betrayal, and panic. For many, it was a harsh reminder of the fragility of financial systems and the consequences of unchecked speculation. The event itself was extraordinary, not just for its financial impact, but also for its societal implications. Imagine the environment of 19th century New York City. Brokers frantically shouting orders, messengers racing between offices, bankers collapsing under the weight of loss, and ordinary citizens reading the morning papers only to discover that their savings had been devalued or lost entirely. For a time, Black Friday represented a collapse of trust in financial institutions, trust in markets, and trust in the promises of rapid economic growth. It highlighted the human cost of greed and ambition, creating a narrative that would linger in the public imagination for decades. Interestingly, the 1869 Black Friday also offers a fascinating glimpse into early financial psychology. Investors, driven by fear and greed, demonstrated behaviors that modern economists would later categorize as speculative bubbles, herd mentality, and risk mismanagement. The frenzy to buy gold, the panic to sell once prices dropped, and the emotional roller coaster experienced by both professionals and lay people reveal that human reactions to financial opportunity and crisis have remained remarkably consistent for over a century. In many ways, the 1869 event is a prototype of modern economic panic, a lesson in how markets are shaped not just by numbers, but by emotions, perception, and human decision making. The ripple effects of this Black Friday were profound. Although the immediate financial impact lasted only a few days, the memory of the event persisted. Newspapers and commentators of the era recounted the drama, etching the phrase into the historical lexicon. It became shorthand for sudden economic disaster, a term to be feared and respected. Unlike today, where Black Friday signals opportunity and profit, the original Black Friday was a warning, a cautionary tale about ambition, manipulation, and the potential consequences of overreach. Yet, what makes this origin so fascinating is the irony. The same term that once marked panic and disaster would, nearly a century later, transform into a celebration of commerce and prosperity. The journey from financial catastrophe to a cheerful retail tradition underscores not only the adaptability of language, but also the ways in which society reinterprets history for new purposes. The emotional resonance of Black shifted from fear to excitement, from loss to profit, and from chaos to a controlled, exhilarating frenzy that could be marketed and sold. In reflecting on this earliest use of Black Friday, we can see several key takeaways. First, it reminds us that history often begins in unexpected ways. A day that started as a cautionary tale of economic greed evolved into a cornerstone of global consumer culture. Second, it demonstrates the enduring influence of human behavior on economic systems. The Panic of 1869, while extreme, mirrors patterns of behavior that continue to shape markets today. Finally, it offers a layered perspective on the meaning of Black Friday, a day whose origin story is rich with drama, psychology, and historical significance. In short, understanding the financial panic of 1869 is essential to understanding Black Friday as we know it. It sets the stage for the cultural transformation that would follow decades later in Philadelphia and eventually across the entire United States. It shows that the term Black Friday is far more than a shopping slogan. It is a story of ambition, risk, human nature, and the unpredictable interplay between people and markets. It is a tale that spans centuries, a day whose meaning has evolved as dramatically as the society that embraced it. From this origin point, we can begin to trace the transformation of Black Friday from a day of disaster to a day of ritualized consumer behaviors. The journey is as complex as it is fascinating, and it is one that illuminates not only the history of commerce, but also the psychology of participation, the evolution of language, and the resilience of cultural memory. By exploring the financial panic of 1869 in detail, we gain insight into the roots of one of the most significant cultural phenomena of modern times, a phenomenon that would eventually captivate millions, shape economies, and become a symbol of opportunity, celebration, and yes, a little controlled chaos. After its dramatic debut in 1869 as a term marking financial disaster, the phrase Black Friday lay dormant for decades, lingering in historical texts, but largely absent from everyday conversation. The notion of black as a warning remained, but it had little relevance outside of finance. It wasn't until the mid 20th century, nearly a century later, that Black Friday resurfaced, and this time in an entirely different context. Rather than denoting financial ruin, it began to describe something much more tangible: urban chaos caused by people, traffic, and shopping activity. The setting for this transformation was Philadelphia in the 1950s. The city had long been a hub of commerce and culture, with bustling streets and thriving neighborhoods. Around this time, a curious annual pattern began to emerge. The day after Thanksgiving, which was unofficially the start of the holiday shopping season, saw a massive influx of shoppers and tourists from the surrounding suburbs. But it wasn't just shopping that brought them in. Philadelphia was also home to the historic Army-Navy football game, traditionally held on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. The combination of holiday shopping and football tourism created an unprecedented surge in foot traffic, vehicles, and activity. Streets that were normally busy became jammed, sidewalks crowded, and public transportation overwhelmed. For local authorities, the day was a nightmare. Police officers were tasked with managing large crowds, controlling traffic, preventing accidents, and responding to shoplifting incidents that inevitably increased as stores were filled to capacity. The city became a chaotic scene, teetering between festivity and frustration. It was in this context that Philadelphia police officers began referring to the day as Black Friday. Unlike the financial panic of 1869, this version of Black Friday had nothing to do with stock markets or gold prices. Instead, black reflected the burdens and pressures of the day: long hours, high stress, and the sheer intensity of managing what had become the busiest day of the year. It was a descriptive label, a shorthand for the urban chaos that city workers dreaded each November. Interestingly, the term Black Friday carried a certain irony. While it was dreaded by police, it was simultaneously a boon for retailers. Stores were packed with shoppers eager to spend money, marking the unofficial start of the holiday shopping season. For retailers, this day was an opportunity, a chance to begin making significant profits. However, from the perspective of city authorities, the same day was a logistical and social challenge, highlighting the duality of human experience. What is beneficial for some can be overwhelming for others. Philadelphia retailers were not thrilled with the label. The word black suggested something negative, something to avoid. They worried that calling the busiest shopping day of the year Black Friday would scare away customers. In an attempt to improve public perception, some suggested renaming the day Big Friday, emphasizing growth, opportunity, and excitement rather than chaos and stress. However, the original term had already gained traction, and Black Friday persisted. Its sticky, memorable nature ensured that it would continue to be used both in Philadelphia and eventually beyond. This period also highlights an important social dynamic: the interaction between commerce, urban infrastructure, and human behavior. The post Thanksgiving rush was not simply about shopping, it was about movement, coordination, and the collision of different social groups in a shared space. Shoppers, tourists, police, store employees, and city residents all played roles in creating a dynamic, chaotic environment. The term Black Friday became a way to capture and communicate this complexity in a single, evocative phrase. Moreover, this shift in meaning illustrates how language evolves to reflect lived experiences. The same word, black, was once used to describe financial despair and now described urban pressure, tension, and the challenges of managing large crowds. Both meanings involve intensity and heightened stakes, yet the context is entirely different. This adaptability of language is crucial to understanding cultural phenomena, as it allows phrases to take on new life in response to changing social circumstances. During this era, Philadelphia became the epicenter of Black Friday's new identity. Police reports, local newspapers, and anecdotal accounts from city residents all describe the day as chaotic, overwhelming, and exhausting. The influx of shoppers could clog streets for blocks, causing traffic jams that lasted for hours. Public transportation was overburdened, with buses and trains packed beyond capacity. Pedestrians swarmed sidewalks, creating bottlenecks at intersections. Shoplifting incidents rose, in part due to the sheer number of shoppers and the difficulty of monitoring crowded stores. Officers often described the day as feeling like managing a swarm, a fitting metaphor for the intensity of the chaos. Yet, in the midst of the stress, there was also a sense of ritual and excitement. Shoppers flocked to stores to prepare for the upcoming holiday season, and retailers were eager to capitalize on the crowd. Despite the challenges faced by police and city officials, the day marked an important social and economic rhythm: the transition from autumn into the holiday season, the tension between chaos and opportunity, stress and profit, made this version of Black Friday unique and memorable. By the 1960s, the term began to gain recognition outside Philadelphia. Business journalists and newspapers began using it to describe the post-Thanksgiving shopping surge in other cities. While the association with crowded streets and overwhelmed police officers remained central, the term gradually started to shed some of its negative connotations. Retailers recognized the potential to transform this day into a celebration of commerce rather than a warning of chaos. This was the first step toward the Black Friday we know today, a day of excitement, anticipation, and ritualized consumer behavior. It is also fascinating to consider how this version of Black Friday connects to broader cultural and economic trends. The mid 20th century saw a rise in suburban living, increased automobile ownership, and the growth of department stores. These factors contributed to the massive influx of shoppers into urban centers like Philadelphia. Black Friday became a reflection of changing lifestyles, economic prosperity, and the growing importance of consumer culture in American society. It was a day where social behavior, infrastructure, and commerce intersected, creating a complex and highly visible phenomenon. Ultimately, this period represents a turning point in the evolution of Black Friday. The term shifted from describing financial collapse to describing human behavior in a commercial context. It became a marker of intensity, challenge, and significance, a day that was both dreaded and celebrated, depending on your perspective. This duality, combined with the inherent excitement of shopping, set the stage for the national adoption of the term and the eventual transformation into a cultural and economic institution. In short, the emergence of this new kind of Black Friday shows how language, society, and commerce evolve together. A phrase that once captured panic in financial markets could be repurposed to describe urban chaos, tension, and anticipation. It underscores the adaptability of cultural terminology and highlights the interplay between human behavior, infrastructure, and economic activity. By understanding this transformation, we gain deeper insight into why Black Friday resonates so strongly today, not just as a shopping day, but as a symbol of shared experience, opportunity, and the thrill of participating in a ritual that has evolved over more than a century. Philadelphia occupies a unique and pivotal place in the history of Black Friday. While many people today associate the term with shopping, discounts, and holiday excitement, its modern identity owes much to this city. It was here, in the mid 20th century, that the post Thanksgiving chaos we now call Black Friday first became widely recognized, documented, and named. Understanding Philadelphia's role gives us essential insight into how a local phenomenon became a national tradition and eventually a global event. The origins of Philadelphia's connection to Black Friday are intertwined with its economic, social, and cultural landscape during the 1950s and 1960s. At this time, Philadelphia was a bustling urban center with a growing retail sector. Department stores and specialty shops were concentrated in the city's downtown areas, making it a major shopping destination. Suburban expansion in the surrounding counties meant that more people had access to automobiles, and post-Thanksgiving travel into the city increased significantly. This created a perfect storm, a high population of potential shoppers, easy access to urban retail hubs, and a cultural rhythm that revolved around Thanksgiving and the Army-Navy football game. The football game, traditionally held on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, acted as a significant draw for the city. Military traditions, school pride, and regional loyalty combined to bring thousands of spectators into Philadelphia from nearby towns and states. Many of these visitors arrived early, often on the Friday after Thanksgiving, to shop, dine, and explore the city. Retailers, recognizing the opportunity, extended their hours and stocked more merchandise. The result was a massive influx of people that transformed the city into a hub of commercial and social activity. However, this surge of shoppers and visitors created challenges, particularly for the Philadelphia Police Department. Officers faced overwhelming traffic congestion, crowded sidewalks, and logistical headaches on a scale unlike any other day of the year. Managing thousands of shoppers, navigating narrow streets, busy intersections, and overflowing stores was a daunting task. In addition, the rise in foot traffic naturally led to increased incidents of petty theft, pickpocketing, and shoplifting. Police officers found themselves working long hours, often with little rest, just to maintain order in the midst of this chaos. It was in this context that Philadelphia law enforcement officers began to refer to the day as Black Friday. Here, the term black captured the dark reality of the day: exhaustion, tension, and the overwhelming pressures of crowd management. Unlike the original 1869 Black Friday, which was tied to financial panic, Philadelphia's Black Friday was rooted in social behavior and urban logistics. It reflected a day of intense human activity and urban strain rather than a day of economic catastrophe. Local newspapers soon picked up on this terminology. Articles described the massive crowds, the congested streets, and the challenges faced by police officers and city workers. Headlines emphasized both the excitement and the chaos, capturing the dual nature of the event: a boon for commerce, but a challenge for city infrastructure. The media coverage helped solidify Philadelphia's identity as the birthplace of the modern Black Friday, giving the term national visibility over time. Interestingly, while police officers used the term to highlight stress and difficulty, retailers had a more ambivalent relationship with it. For many store owners, the post-Thanksgiving shopping rush was a financial opportunity, signaling the start of the holiday sales season and the chance to generate significant revenue. However, the negative connotation of Black Friday, suggesting disorder, chaos, and discomfort, was a concern. Attempts were made to rebrand the day as Big Friday, emphasizing growth, excitement, and opportunity. Despite these efforts, the original phrase persisted, and its memorable, evocative nature ensured that it endured. Philadelphia's unique geography, commerce, and cultural events created the ideal conditions for the phenomenon to flourish. The city's dense downtown area, combined with suburban mobility, meant that more people were converging into a relatively small urban space. Retailers were positioned to take advantage of this concentration, while police officers were tasked with controlling the resulting surge. The Army-Navy football game added a social and festive dimension, making Black Friday as much about leisure and tradition as it was about shopping. Together, these factors created a perfect environment for a recognizable pattern of urban chaos that could be named, documented, and remembered. Beyond its logistical and commercial aspects, the Philadelphia connection also highlights the social psychology behind Black Friday. The day became a shared experience, uniting diverse groups of people in a common ritual. Shoppers, commuters, tourists, and city officials all participated in the event, albeit in different ways. The intensity of the day, long lines, crowded stores, traffic jams, created a sense of communal participation. Even the stress and frustration experienced by police officers were part of this shared narrative, as their challenges symbolize the scale and importance of the day. In this sense, Black Friday in Philadelphia was more than an economic event. It was a social phenomenon, marking the transition from Thanksgiving into the holiday season and reinforcing communal rhythms. Philadelphia also illustrates the way traditions evolve from specific local circumstances. A combination of urban design, cultural events, economic opportunities, and human behavior created a pattern that could be named and remembered. This pattern eventually spread beyond the city, demonstrating how local practices can influence national and even global culture. By understanding Philadelphia's role, we can appreciate that Black Friday did not arise from retail marketing alone. It was a complex intersection of geography, society, and economy. Moreover, the Philadelphia story underscores the adaptability of language and culture. The term Black Friday, once a descriptor of financial panic, was repurposed to capture the unique chaos of post-Thanksgiving shopping in a major city. This evolution shows how meaning is shaped by context, experience, and social perception. It also highlights the interplay between human behavior and language. The words we use to describe events often evolve as those events themselves change. Finally, the Philadelphia connection provides a lens through which we can understand the broader significance of Black Friday today. Modern Black Friday, with its nationwide sales, doorbuster deals, and online extensions, retains echoes of its Philadelphia roots. The tension between chaos and opportunity, stress and excitement, is still present in the lines at stores, the rush of shoppers online, and the strategic timing of sales. Even the communal aspect of participation, the sense of being part of a larger social and economic rhythm, traces back to Philadelphia's crowded streets and festive football weekends. In summary, Philadelphia's role in the evolution of Black Friday cannot be overstated. The city transformed the term from a financial warning into a descriptor of human behavior, urban intensity, and commercial opportunity. It became the birthplace of a phenomenon that would spread across the United States, shaping consumer culture and creating a shared national ritual. By examining this connection, we gain insight into how local circumstances, cultural events, and human behavior converge to create traditions that endure, evolve, and eventually become part of a global narrative. Philadelphia shows us that Black Friday is not just about shopping, it is about the complex dance of people, commerce, and society. It is about how cities, rituals, and shared experiences shape the way we understand time, celebration, and opportunity. It is the birthplace of a day that would capture the imagination of millions, turning a chaotic urban phenomenon into a cultural institution and an economic powerhouse. Understanding this connection gives us a deeper appreciation for Black Friday's history, its enduring significance, and its surprising journey from local chaos to global recognition. As Black Friday began to take shape in Philadelphia during the 1950s and 1960s, It quickly became clear that the day was a mixed blessing for different groups of people. On one hand, it brought enormous crowds, heightened consumer activity, and the potential for substantial retail profits. On the other, it created logistical nightmares, overwhelmed infrastructure, and earned the day a rather ominous nickname, Black Friday. Retailers, in particular, had a complicated relationship with the term. While the sheer volume of shoppers suggested enormous potential revenue, the negative connotations of the phrase posed a marketing problem. Black implied chaos, stress, and difficulty, not exactly the message a department store wanted to convey. For a day that symbolized the beginning of the holiday shopping season, the name felt counterproductive, almost like a warning rather than an invitation. Many retailers attempted to counteract this negative perception. Some suggested calling the day Big Friday, a name designed to emphasize growth, excitement, and commercial opportunity. Big Friday was meant to highlight the promise of prosperity, the thrill of deals, and the festive start of the shopping season. Marketing campaigns, local advertisements, and public communications occasionally attempted to adopt this more positive framing. Yet, the effort largely failed. The reason the rebranding didn't work lies in the psychology of language and memory. Black Friday was already deeply ingrained in the local consciousness. Philadelphia residents, police officers, and city officials were using it regularly to describe the post Thanksgiving rush. The phrase was memorable, evocative, and carried a sense of drama that Big Friday lacked. While retailers wanted a term that sounded cheerful, the public had already embraced the name for its vivid imagery of bustling streets, jam-packed sidewalks, and the sheer intensity of the day. This pushback by retailers is fascinating because it shows the tension between marketing interests and cultural perception. Retailers were naturally focused on creating an appealing narrative to attract shoppers, whereas the public, including police and journalists, had adopted a term that reflected lived experience rather than commercial intent. It was a clash between corporate messaging and social reality, and in this case, social reality won. The word black remained, evolving from a cautionary descriptor into a badge of excitement, risk, and anticipation. By the 1960s, the day after Thanksgiving had become a regular and highly visible event in Philadelphia, attracting attention from neighboring cities and eventually from national media. Retailers recognized that ignoring the term altogether would be unwise, as its widespread usage gave it staying power. Instead, some began to subtly embrace it, acknowledging the intensity of the day while highlighting the opportunities it presented. This compromise marked an early stage in the commercialization of Black Friday, the point at which retailers shifted from resisting the term to leveraging its energy to drive sales. The pushback also illuminates an important aspect of consumer culture. Perception matters. Black Friday was not merely a day defined by transactions. It was a day shaped by emotions, expectations, and social narrative. By resisting the term Black Friday, retailers initially underestimated the power of a shared cultural narrative. The eventual realization that the name could be reframed from chaotic to profitable became a turning point. It revealed how marketing, cultural adaptation, and human psychology intertwine to transform a local phenomenon into a national ritual. This era also marked the beginning of the creative strategies that retailers would later perfect. They experimented with extended hours, special promotions, and merchandising tactics designed to accommodate the surging crowds while emphasizing opportunity over chaos. The tension between overcrowded stores and shopper excitement became part of the spectacle itself. In many ways, the pushback period was an informal testing ground for the techniques that would define modern retail events. Doorbusters, limited time offers, and highly visible discounts designed to create urgency and engagement. Philadelphia's retailers also had to navigate logistical challenges, which in turn influenced their approach to marketing and operations. Stores increased staffing, arranged crowd control measures, and adjusted inventory strategies to handle the unexpected demand. These operational adaptations were critical in transforming Black Friday from a chaotic ordeal into a structured commercial event. Over time, the ability to manage crowds, maintain order, and offer enticing deals became a competitive advantage, signaling that Black Friday was no longer just a problem to resist. It was an opportunity to innovate and profit. Another interesting dimension of this pushback is the way it reflects broader social attitudes toward commerce. At the time, American consumer culture was evolving rapidly. The post-World War II economic boom had increased disposable income, suburban growth had made shopping more accessible, and department stores were competing to become community hubs. In this context, Black Friday represented both the promise and the challenge of consumerism. Retailers' attempts to resist or rebrand the day were not simply about terminology, they reflected a negotiation between tradition, social perception, and economic opportunity. By the late 1960s and into the 1970s, retailers began to accept that the term Black Friday was here to stay. Rather than resisting it, they focused on redefining it in a positive light. Marketing campaigns started to emphasize prosperity rather than chaos, using the term as a hook rather than a warning. They promoted the idea that Black Friday was the day when stores finally moved into the black financially, referencing the accounting term for profitability. This reinterpretation transformed the narrative entirely. What had once been a descriptor of urban stress became a symbol of commercial success and celebration. The pushback era is significant because it highlights the adaptability of culture and commerce. It shows how a term can shift in meaning, how public perception can influence corporate strategy, and how a local phenomenon can evolve into a national institution. Retailers learned to work with the narrative rather than against it, setting the stage for the explosive growth of Black Friday as we know it today. Ultimately, the story of retailers pushing back against the term Black Friday is a reminder that language, culture, and commerce are deeply interconnected. What begins as a term of caution or critique can, over time, be reframed as a symbol of opportunity and excitement. It underscores the importance of context, perception, and adaptability in shaping the traditions and rituals that endure over decades. Philadelphia's experience shows us that resistance is often the first step in transformation. By initially pushing back against the term, retailers engaged with the social and cultural dynamics of their city, ultimately discovering ways to leverage the very forces they once opposed. This delicate negotiation between chaos and control, stress and opportunity set the tone for Black Friday's national expansion and eventual global adoption. In summary, the retailer's pushback phase was not a failure. It was a crucial step in the evolution of Black Friday. It illustrates how commercial institutions adapt to cultural phenomena, how meaning shifts over time, and how opportunity can emerge from resistance. By understanding this period, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity of Black Friday, its layered history, and the way that perception, strategy, and human behavior combined to transform a chaotic post Thanksgiving day into one of the most anticipated and celebrated retail events in the world. By the 1980s, Black Friday had become firmly entrenched in American culture, at least regionally, thanks largely to Philadelphia and its unique post Thanksgiving chaos. Yet, even as the day was increasingly recognized as a significant shopping event, its image remained somewhat conflicted. The term Black Friday still carried echoes of disorder, overcrowding, and stress, a reputation that made retailers uneasy. It was during this decade that a pivotal shift occurred. Black Friday was rebranded not through new legislation or policy, but through strategic marketing and cultural reinterpretation. This rebranding would set the stage for the national phenomenon we know today. To understand the importance of this turning point, it is essential to look at the broader economic and social context of the 1980s. The United States was experiencing a period of economic growth after the stagflation of the 1970s. Consumer confidence was rising, credit card usage was expanding, and Americans were increasingly embracing a culture of convenience, abundance, and consumption. Department stores, malls, and retail chains were competing aggressively to capture this growing market, and every edge in marketing and sales strategy mattered. Black Friday, despite its chaotic reputation, presented a golden opportunity to kick off the holiday shopping season in a highly visible way. Retailers realized that one of the most powerful ways to transform public perception was through the reinterpretation of language. The negative associations of Black Friday, disorder, stress, and chaos, were reframed as symbols of economic success. Suddenly, the black in Black Friday was no longer about trouble or troublemakers. It was about profits. In accounting terms, being in the red meant operating at a loss, while being in the black signified profitability. By aligning the term with financial success rather than urban chaos, retailers effectively turned a potential liability into a marketing advantage. This rebranding was not merely symbolic, it had tangible implications for retail strategy. Stores began promoting the day as a celebration of commerce, emphasizing discounts, deals, and the opportunity to get ahead in holiday shopping. Advertisements, newspaper inserts, and television spots highlighted the excitement of the day rather than the stress of crowded streets. The narrative shifted from warning shoppers to enticing them. Black Friday was now a must attend event, a day to take advantage of exclusive offers and the official launch of the holiday shopping season. One of the most fascinating aspects of this transformation was how it leveraged human psychology. Retailers understood that shopping is not just about acquiring goods, it's about emotion, anticipation, and ritual. By reframing Black Friday as a day of opportunity and profit, marketers tapped into consumers' desire for a good deal, the thrill of competition, and the satisfaction of timing purchases perfectly. Scarcity, urgency, and exclusivity became central to the experience, creating a potent mix of excitement and motivation that encouraged participation on a massive scale. The 1980s rebranding also included changes in operational strategy. Retailers extended store hours to accommodate early morning and even overnight shoppers. Department stores experimented with doorbuster deals, limited quantity, high value items that could draw crowds to stores. Advertising campaigns emphasized both the timing and the savings, creating anticipation in the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving. These operational and marketing strategies were carefully coordinated to turn a day previously seen as chaotic into a profitable, controlled spectacle. Importantly, the rebranding of Black Friday in the 1980s was a gradual process. It did not happen overnight, nor was it imposed top down. Rather, it emerged from a combination of local adaptation, media coverage, and marketing innovation. Philadelphia's example provided a blueprint for other cities, demonstrating that a post Thanksgiving shopping surge could be harnessed as a profitable event. Retailers across the country observed the phenomenon, experimented with timing and promotions, and gradually adopted the terminology in a positive light. The media played a crucial role in solidifying this rebranding. Newspapers, television programs, and trade publications began reporting on Black Friday not as a problem for police, but as an economic opportunity and a shopping spectacle. Coverage shifted from chaotic images of overcrowded streets to stories highlighting record breaking sales, innovative promotions, and the excitement of shoppers scoring great deals. This shift in media framing was critical to transforming public perception, helping to embed the new meaning of Black Friday into the national consciousness. The 1980s also saw the rise of a national retail culture centered around large shopping malls. These malls became social hubs, offering not only merchandise, but entertainment, dining, and a sense of community. Black Friday fit perfectly into this emerging landscape. The day became less about urban chaos in crowded streets and more about organized, mall based shopping events, marketing strategies, logistical planning, and the growth of suburban retail centers all reinforced the reframed, profitable image of Black Friday. From a psychological perspective, the rebranding of Black Friday illustrates the power of narrative and perception in shaping consumer behavior. What began as a day associated with stress, chaos, and urban disorder was recast as a day of opportunity, excitement, and strategic shopping. Consumers were encouraged to participate actively, anticipate deals, and engage in the ritualistic aspect of the day. By transforming meaning, retailers effectively converted a social challenge into a profitable cultural event. Another important dimension of the 1980s rebranding was the beginning of the commercialization of the holiday season itself. Retailers recognized that Black Friday could serve as a powerful anchor, signaling the start of holiday spending. Marketing campaigns connected Black Friday to themes of generosity, celebration, and family traditions, further embedding it into cultural practice. The day became not just about individual shopping, but about collective anticipation and participation in a national ritual. The turning point of the 1980s also set the stage for future innovations in retail and consumer culture. It laid the groundwork for the aggressive promotions, extended store hours, and doorbuster deals that characterize modern Black Friday. It also established the principle that meaning and perception are central to marketing. A term with negative connotations can be reimagined, reframed, and leveraged to create excitement, participation, and profit. In summary, the 1980s rebranding of Black Friday represents a critical juncture in the history of this iconic day. The transformation from chaotic, stressful, and negative to profitable, exciting, and celebratory illustrates the interplay of language, marketing, psychology, and cultural adaptation. Retailers learned to embrace the term rather than resist it, using strategic messaging and operational changes to convert a local phenomenon into a national spectacle. This turning point set the stage for Black Friday's explosive growth in the decades to come, establishing the patterns, behaviors, and cultural associations that continue to define the event today. Ultimately, the 1980s rebranding shows us that Black Friday is more than a shopping day. It is a case study in how culture, commerce, and human perception intersect. By turning a term with a negative past into a symbol of opportunity, retailers not only transformed their own business outcomes, but also reshaped a national ritual that millions of people continue to participate in year after year. The story of Black Friday's rebranding reminds us that even the most chaotic, stressful, or challenging phenomena can be reframed, reinterpreted, and celebrated if approached with creativity, strategy, and an understanding of human psychology. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, Black Friday had transformed from a regional phenomenon rooted in Philadelphia chaos into a national retail spectacle. This was the period when Black Friday evolved into the massive, media-driven, high-energy event that we recognize today. The groundwork laid by the 1980s rebranding had shifted public perception. Black now suggested opportunity, profit, and anticipation rather than stress or disorder. Retailers capitalized on this shift, creating a new kind of consumer experience that was designed to thrill, entice, and engage shoppers on an unprecedented scale. The rise of the modern shopping spectacle can be understood through several interconnected developments: marketing innovation, mall culture, media amplification, and evolving consumer psychology. Each of these elements played a critical role in transforming Black Friday from a simple post-Thanksgiving shopping day into a full-fledged cultural event. Marketing innovation was at the heart of the spectacle. Retailers began introducing eye-catching promotions, exclusive discounts, and limited quantity doorbuster deals that promised incredible value but required shoppers to act quickly. These promotions created a sense of urgency and anticipation, driving crowds to stores at the very moment doors opened, sometimes even before sunrise. Flyers, newspaper inserts, radio ads, and eventually television commercials promoted these deals widely, turning Black Friday into an event that shoppers could plan for days or even weeks in advance. The marketing wasn't just about selling products, it was about creating a shared cultural experience and a sense of participation in a national ritual. Simultaneously, the growth of shopping malls in suburban America played a major role in shaping the modern Black Friday. Malls became social hubs where shopping was not merely transactional, but also a form of entertainment. Families, groups of friends, and tourists flocked to these centers, not just to buy goods, but to experience the spectacle of crowds, music, decorations, and the excitement of other shoppers. The architecture of malls, with wide corridors, centralized layouts, and anchor stores designed to draw foot traffic, made them perfect venues for managing and amplifying the spectacle. Retailers could channel consumer energy, strategically placing promotions to maximize exposure and increase sales across multiple stores in a single trip. Media amplification further intensified the experience. By the 1990s, television networks, newspapers, and magazines were covering Black Friday in ways that highlighted both the excitement and the frenzy. News segments featured early morning lines, shoppers competing for limited items, and sometimes even scuffles over high demand products. While these portrayals underscored the intensity of the day, they also served to entice a wider audience. People who had never participated in Black Friday before were now drawn to the event, curious to experience the energy themselves. Media coverage, therefore, became a self-reinforcing mechanism. The spectacle was amplified by the coverage, which in turn attracted more participants, increasing the spectacle's scale and intensity. Consumer psychology was another driving force. Humans are naturally drawn to novelty, scarcity, and competition, all of which Black Friday offered in abundance. The anticipation of limited time deals, the thrill of navigating crowded stores, and the satisfaction of winning a sought after item tapped into deep seated psychological triggers. Retailers leveraged these dynamics expertly, designing sales events to maximize excitement and urgency. The sense of accomplishment from successfully purchasing a coveted product created emotional engagement, ensuring that shoppers not only participated but also returned year after year. In essence, Black Friday became as much about the experience as it was about the products themselves. A critical aspect of this evolution was the concept of ritualization. Black Friday became a structured event with recognizable patterns: early morning cues, the opening bell or door, the pursuit of specific deals, and post-purchase celebrations. These repeated behaviors created a shared cultural understanding, almost a rite of passage for consumers. Families and groups of friends often coordinated strategies, mapping out stores to visit and prioritizing items to buy. Retailers encouraged this ritualization by maintaining consistent schedules, advertising recurring promotions, and providing incentives for repeat participation. The day became predictable, yet exciting, balancing structure with the thrill of competition. The spectacle was also shaped by social proof, the idea that people are influenced by the behavior of others. Seeing large crowds, hearing about long lines, and observing early success stories amplified participation. Shoppers felt a psychological pull to join the event, both to not miss out on deals and to experience the communal energy of thousands of fellow participants. This social dimension reinforced the intensity of the spectacle, transforming Black Friday into a collective experience rather than a purely individual pursuit. It is important to note that the modern shopping spectacle was not confined to physical stores alone. The rise of technology, particularly the spread of personal computers and early internet shopping in the 1990s, began to extend the spectacle beyond mall walls. Retailers started offering mail order promotions and early online deals, signaling the first steps toward a multi channel Black Friday experience. While in-store participation remained central, these technological innovations laid the groundwork for the next phase of Black Friday evolution: online shopping and digital sales amplification. The rise of the spectacle also brought new challenges and adaptations. Managing large crowds safely became a priority, prompting stores to develop crowd control strategies, security protocols, and operational improvements. Retailers learned to balance excitement with safety, creating a more controlled environment without diminishing the thrill. This balance between chaos and order became a defining characteristic of modern Black Friday, allowing the spectacle to scale nationwide without collapsing under its own intensity. Ultimately, the rise of the modern shopping spectacle transformed Black Friday from a regional curiosity into a national institution. It became an event defined by anticipation, energy, marketing ingenuity, and cultural significance. Retailers, consumers, media, and urban infrastructure all played intertwined roles in creating an experience that was larger than the sum of its parts. By the end of this period, Black Friday had firmly established itself as the official kickoff to the holiday shopping season, a day when excitement, profit, and shared ritual converged in a spectacular display of commerce. In summary, the emergence of the modern Black Friday spectacle illustrates how marketing, media, psychology, and social dynamics interact to shape cultural phenomena. What began as chaos in Philadelphia streets became a carefully orchestrated, highly anticipated national event. The day's evolution shows how retailers, consumers, and cultural forces collaborate, consciously or unconsciously, to transform a simple post-Thanksgiving shopping day into a full-scale, enduring spectacle. The modern Black Friday is a testament to the power of human behavior, social participation, and strategic commerce, demonstrating that shopping can be as much about experience and ritual as it is about buying products. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the groundwork had been laid for Black Friday to expand beyond Philadelphia and regional awareness, transforming into a nationwide phenomenon. What had begun as a localized chaos of post-Thanksgiving shoppers and overwhelmed police officers was now being deliberately marketed, celebrated, and emulated across the United States. This period marks the crucial stage when Black Friday transitioned from regional tradition to national institution, solidifying its place in American culture and retail. One of the most significant factors behind Black Friday's national expansion was the increasing interconnectedness of media and commerce. National newspapers, magazines, and television networks began reporting on Black Friday in ways that emphasized both the excitement and the economic importance of the day. The images of eager shoppers lined up outside stores before dawn, the rush to obtain limited time doorbuster deals, and stories of record breaking sales captured the attention of audiences far beyond Philadelphia. Consumers in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and other urban centers were exposed to a new cultural script. Black Friday was the must-attend event, marking the start of the holiday season. Retailers across the country were quick to recognize the opportunity. Department stores, chains, and specialty shops began to emulate the strategies pioneered in Philadelphia. Extended store hours, aggressive sales promotions, and the introduction of doorbuster deals became standard practices in cities nationwide. By aligning marketing campaigns with the narrative of excitement, urgency, and profitability, retailers transformed Black Friday from a local curiosity into a national ritual. The day was no longer just about shopping. It had become a cultural event, a shared experience, and a key economic marker for the holiday season. Several structural and economic changes during this period facilitated the spread. The 1980s and 1990s saw an explosion in the construction of suburban shopping malls. These malls served as ideal venues for scaling Black Friday events. They offered centralized retail hubs, ample parking, controlled environments, and the ability to manage large crowds efficiently. As more Americans migrated to suburban areas, these malls became accessible to millions of consumers, effectively exporting the Black Friday phenomenon beyond city centers. The suburbanization of retail ensured that the day could reach a national audience without the chaos of urban congestion overwhelming participants. Another crucial driver of nationalization was the standardization of marketing messaging. Retail chains increasingly relied on coordinated advertising campaigns across regions, emphasizing consistent deals, predictable store opening times, and similar promotional strategies. Shoppers came to expect a certain rhythm and experience, no matter where they lived. This consistency reinforced the national perception of Black Friday as a collective event, not just a local shopping day, and it further cemented the ritualistic aspect of participation. Families, friends, and communities could now plan, strategize, and engage in Black Friday shopping as a shared cultural practice. The rise of consumer culture in America also played a critical role. By the late 20th century, the United States had cultivated a society deeply invested in material consumption, brand loyalty, and the excitement of opportunity. Black Friday resonated with these values perfectly. It offered the thrill of a good deal, the challenge of competition, and the satisfaction of timing purchases perfectly. Retailers leveraged these cultural tendencies by framing Black Friday not just as a shopping day, but as an essential celebratory kickoff to the holiday season. The day became a reflection of societal values, ambition, preparedness, and participation in a national ritual of consumption. Nationalization was further accelerated by the expansion of media coverage, television networks, radio programs, and later, the emerging internet broadcasted stories about Black Friday to millions of households. Images of long lines, frantic shoppers, and spectacular sales events created a sense of excitement and urgency. People who had never experienced Black Friday firsthand felt compelled to participate, contributing to a self-reinforcing cycle. Media coverage generated interest, which drew more shoppers, which in turn created new stories and coverage. The spectacle of Black Friday had become a national cultural script. Moreover, Black Friday began to shape expectations about the holiday shopping season itself. Consumers came to anticipate a concentrated period of deals, discounts, and competitive shopping. Retailers coordinated their inventory and pricing strategies to align with this national event, further reinforcing its prominence. By the mid 1990s, Black Friday had become synonymous with the official start of holiday shopping, setting benchmarks for sales, foot traffic, and consumer behavior across the country. What had begun as a chaotic, locally named day in Philadelphia had matured into a predictable, economically significant event with national reach. The day also began to foster new consumer behaviors. Shoppers learned to strategize, identifying priority stores, mapping out routes, comparing deals, and even arriving hours before store openings. Families and friend groups often coordinated shopping excursions, turning Black Friday into a social experience as much as a commercial one. Retailers encouraged these behaviors by offering incentives for early arrivals and special promotions for coordinated purchases, embedding strategic participation into the national narrative of Black Friday. Another notable aspect of this period was the growth of competitive marketing. Retailers increasingly competed for attention, employing bold advertising, themed campaigns, and exclusive deals to differentiate themselves. Consumers became accustomed to the anticipation of limited quantity items and the excitement of winning high demand products. These marketing tactics elevated Black Friday beyond mere shopping into a form of entertainment, combining strategy, thrill, and social engagement. The nationalization of Black Friday also reflected the power of shared experience in American culture. Millions of people across the country were participating in a common ritual, planning, shopping, and celebrating at the same time, year after year. This synchronicity created a sense of collective participation, reinforcing the day's cultural significance. Black Friday had evolved from an isolated local event into a symbol of national consumer culture, tying communities together through a shared rhythm of anticipation and activity. By the end of the 1990s, Black Friday had firmly established itself as a cornerstone of the American retail calendar. It had moved from a local, somewhat notorious day in Philadelphia to a nationwide event recognized by consumers, retailers, and media alike. The day's nationalization reflected the interplay of marketing, media, consumer psychology, and societal trends. It demonstrated how a local phenomenon, rooted in chaos and human behavior, could scale into a coordinated, culturally significant, and economically critical event across an entire country. In summary, Black Friday's journey to national prominence illustrates the complex dynamics of cultural adaptation and economic expansion. From Philadelphia streets to suburban malls and major metropolitan centers, the day became an institutionalized ritual, blending excitement, competition, and commerce. Its nationalization underscores the power of media amplification, marketing strategy, and social psychology in transforming a localized phenomenon into a shared cultural experience. By understanding this stage, we see how Black Friday evolved from a chaotic post Thanksgiving day into a defining marker of American consumer culture, setting the stage for its eventual global influence. By the time Black Friday became a national phenomenon, it wasn't just about retail strategy or marketing innovation. It had become a fascinating case study in human psychology. Understanding why millions of people participate in this high intensity shopping event requires a deep dive into the psychological forces at play, from the thrill of scarcity to the social pressure of participation. Black Friday taps into fundamental aspects of human behavior that retailers have masterfully leveraged over the decades. One of the most powerful psychological drivers behind Black Friday is the principle of scarcity. Scarcity is the idea that when resources are limited, they become more desirable. In the context of the Black Friday, retailers create scarcity By offering limited quantity items, exclusive deals, and doorbuster specials, the human brain interprets these constraints as opportunities that must be seized immediately, triggering urgency, excitement, and sometimes even anxiety. Shoppers experience a heightened emotional state as they compete to acquire products that are in limited supply. And this rush releases dopamine, the feel good neurotransmitter, reinforcing the behavior. Closely related is the concept of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. Black Friday's marketing strategies play directly into FOMO by emphasizing time limited deals and highlighting the scarcity of high demand items. Shoppers fear that if they wait too long, they will miss the opportunity to purchase a product at a discounted price, creating a compelling incentive to participate early and aggressively. This fear, combined with the thrill of discovery, motivates millions to line up hours before stores open, navigate crowded aisles, and strategize to maximize their gains. Competition is another psychological element that fuels the frenzy. Black Friday transforms shopping into a quasi-game. Shoppers are not merely buying products, they are competing for them. This competitive environment triggers a natural human response to challenge and reward. Successfully securing a high-demand item provides a sense of achievement and social bragging rights, further enhancing the emotional payoff. Retailers understand this dynamic and design promotions to encourage both direct competition, limited items, first come, first serve, and indirect competition, advertisements showcasing other shoppers' successes. Social proof also plays a critical role. People are strongly influenced by the actions of others, and large crowds serve as a visual and psychological signal that an event is worthwhile. Seeing long lines outside stores or watching media coverage of enthusiastic shoppers reinforces the perception that Black Friday is important and desirable. This social validation motivates participation even for those who might otherwise be indifferent, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of engagement. The day becomes not just about shopping, but about participating in a collective experience. The timing of Black Friday also amplifies its psychological impact. Positioned immediately after Thanksgiving, the day signals the beginning of the holiday season, a time traditionally associated with celebration, family, and giving. This temporal framing primes consumers to spend, celebrate, and anticipate. Retailers leverage this psychological timing to position Black Friday as both a cultural and commercial ritual, embedding the behavior into annual routines. Consumers come to expect and prepare for the day, making it an anticipatory event that heightens excitement and engagement. Marketing psychology plays a subtle but critical role as well. Advertisements, store displays, and even the music and lighting in malls are designed to create an atmosphere of urgency, excitement, and reward. Bold signage, flashing lights, and countdowns emphasize the limited nature of deals, while store layouts are designed to maximize exposure to high demand items and encourage impulse purchases. These environmental cues influence shoppers' decision making, often bypassing rational calculation and triggering instinctive, emotionally driven behaviors. Another psychological factor is the concept of ritualized behaviors. Black Friday has evolved into a repeated, predictable event with recognizable patterns. arriving early, mapping out stores, strategizing deals, and celebrating purchases. Rituals provide a sense of control and mastery over a chaotic environment, transforming what might otherwise be stressful or overwhelming into a structured, purposeful activity. Participants experience both the thrill of unpredictability, who will get the deals first, and the satisfaction of following a known plan, combining excitement with psychological comfort. The role of anticipation cannot be overstated. Retailers create excitement weeks in advance through advertisements, previews, and early promotions. Anticipation amplifies emotional arousal, making the actual shopping experience more intense and rewarding. The days leading up to Black Friday become a psychological buildup, with consumers imagining their strategy, planning their shopping list, and visualizing the rewards of their efforts. This pre-event engagement enhances participation and reinforces the emotional significance of the day. Psychology also explains why Black Friday can feel addictive. The combination of scarcity, competition, social proof, ritual, and reward creates a cycle of emotional highs. Successfully purchasing a high-demand item triggers pleasure, social validation, and a sense of accomplishment. These rewards encourage repeated behavior year after year, embedding Black Friday into consumer routines and cultural memory. Retailers understand this reinforcement cycle and design experiences to maximize both emotional payoff and repeat engagement. Interestingly, studies in behavioral economics also shed light on Black Friday. Shoppers often overestimate the benefits of a deal or underestimate the effort required to secure it. This is known as prospect bias, a cognitive tendency to exaggerate potential gains while discounting potential costs. Retailers exploit this bias with eye-catching promotions, emphasizing limited time savings and high-value deals. Shoppers, driven by both emotion and cognitive bias, are drawn into the frenzy even when rational calculations might suggest moderation. Black Friday also taps into social and identity psychology. Participating in the event allows consumers to signal social status, skill, and savvy. Being the first to secure a hot item or scoring an exceptional deal conveys competence, resourcefulness, and membership in a cultural trend. In this sense, the day is not just about purchasing, it is about identity performance, social signaling, and collective belonging. Finally, Black Friday exemplifies the broader human attraction to organized chaos. Crowds, time pressure, and scarcity create an environment of controlled unpredictability, stimulating, challenging, and ultimately rewarding. This mix of uncertainty and control mirrors many human experiences of play, competition, and reward. By combining these psychological factors, Black Friday transforms shopping from a mundane activity into a high stakes, emotionally charged experience that captivates millions every year. In summary, the psychology of Black Friday is a complex interplay of scarcity, competition, social proof, anticipation, ritual, and emotional reward. The day taps into fundamental human behaviors, driving participation through excitement, urgency, and social validation. Understanding these psychological dynamics helps explain why Black Friday has evolved from chaotic post-Thanksgiving streets into a national ritual and global phenomenon. It is not merely a shopping day, It is a carefully orchestrated interplay of human emotion, behavior, and cultural expectation, a spectacle that engages the mind as much as the wallet. As Black Friday established itself as the pinnacle of in person retail excitement, the late 1990s and early 2000s brought a technological revolution that would fundamentally reshape the holiday shopping landscape. The advent of the internet, widespread home computer access, and e commerce platforms gave rise to a new shopping phenomenon, Cyber Monday. While Black Friday had traditionally been tied to crowded stores, long lines, and in person deals, Cyber Monday offered the convenience of shopping from home, transforming the holiday shopping experience and expanding the reach of retailers far beyond their physical locations. The concept of Cyber Monday was first coined in 2005 by marketing executives seeking to capitalize on the increasing number of consumers who, after the Thanksgiving weekend, were returning to work and accessing high speed internet at their offices. It quickly became a strategic counterpart to Black Friday, offering online deals and exclusive discounts on Monday, providing a convenient alternative for those who either avoided the chaos of physical stores or were seeking additional bargains. The synergy between Black Friday and Cyber Monday created a multi day shopping window, allowing retailers to extend the excitement and economic benefits of the holiday season. Cyber Monday represented more than just convenience. It tapped into the psychology of anticipation and planning. Shoppers who might have missed out on limited in store deals during Black Friday now had a second opportunity to secure high demand items online. The digital platform allowed for strategic planning. Consumers could research products, compare prices, and even pre-fill shopping carts before deals went live. This premeditated approach mirrored and enhanced the tactical aspects of traditional Black Friday shopping while reducing some of the stress associated with physical crowds. The rise of online shopping also democratized access. Previously, Black Friday frenzy was largely concentrated in urban centers, major department stores, and shopping malls. Consumers in rural or suburban areas faced limited options unless they traveled extensively. Cyber Monday eliminated these geographic constraints, allowing millions of Americans to participate from anywhere with internet access. The event quickly became a national and eventually global shopping experience, expanding the reach and influence of retailers in ways that were previously unimaginable. Retailers responded rapidly to this digital evolution. E commerce giants such as Amazon, alongside traditional brick and mortar stores, developed dedicated online promotions, countdown deals, and flash sales to drive traffic. The integration of technology with marketing strategies enabled real time updates, personalized offers, and data driven recommendations, enhancing both consumer engagement and sales efficiency. Cyber Monday not only complemented Black Friday, but also introduced a new layer of sophistication to holiday marketing, leveraging analytics and digital infrastructure to optimize the shopping experience. The psychological principles that drove in store Black Friday participation translated seamlessly to Cyber Monday. Albeit in a digital context, scarcity remained a powerful motivator, with limited time online offers, countdown timers, and low stock alerts creating urgency. The thrill of competition persisted as shoppers raced to secure deals in high demand categories like electronics, fashion, and toys. Social proof evolved through digital channels, customer reviews, online ratings, and media coverage provided validation, reinforcing the desire to participate. The combination of anticipation, convenience, and technological engagement created a compelling, modern shopping ritual. Cyber Monday also signaled a significant shift in consumer behavior. The digital environment allowed for more strategic, data informed purchasing decisions. Shoppers could easily compare prices across multiple retailers, read reviews, and access detailed product specifications. This transparency increased consumer confidence while simultaneously creating new competitive pressures for retailers. To remain relevant, businesses had to innovate, offering attractive deals, user friendly websites, and seamless checkout processes. The rise of Cyber Monday accelerated the professionalization and sophistication of online retail, establishing standards that continue to shape e commerce today. Another important development was the integration of Black Friday and Cyber Monday into extended shopping periods. Retailers began offering pre Black Friday deals, early bird promotions, and post Cyber Monday sales, effectively creating a holiday shopping season that spanned weeks. This extended timeline reflected both consumer demand and technological capability. Online shopping enabled constant engagement, allowing retailers to maintain consumer attention and maximize revenue throughout the season. The digitalization of the holiday shopping calendar transformed the retail industry, making it increasingly data driven, competitive, and continuous. Internationally, the success of Cyber Monday also demonstrated the global appeal of the Black Friday concept. Retailers outside the United States quickly adopted the model, tailoring it to local markets and consumer habits. Countries in Europe, Asia, and Latin America began participating in synchronized online sales events, leveraging the digital infrastructure pioneered by U.S. retailers. This globalization of Black Friday and Cyber Monday not only expanded commercial opportunities but also reinforced the cultural significance of these events, turning them into shared experiences that transcend borders. The interplay between Black Friday and Cyber Monday illustrates a broader cultural and technological trend, the merging of physical and digital commerce. Traditional in store shopping retains its excitement, spectacle, and social engagement, while online shopping offers convenience, planning, and extended access. Together, these twin pillars create a multifaceted holiday shopping ritual that accommodates diverse consumer preferences while amplifying economic impact. The synergy between physical and digital shopping exemplifies how technological innovation can expand cultural traditions and enhance participation. Cyber Monday's rise also underscores the adaptability of retail marketing. Retailers leverage technology not just to replicate in store experiences online, but to enhance them. Features such as personalized recommendations, automated alerts, and dynamic pricing created a tailored, interactive shopping journey. These innovations reflect a deep understanding of consumer psychology and the power of digital tools to shape behavior, preferences, and expectations. Cyber Monday is, in many ways, the evolution of Black Friday's principles into a technologically optimized format, marrying tradition with modern convenience. In summary, the advent of Cyber Monday and online shopping represents a transformative chapter in the history of Black Friday. It expanded participation, democratized access, leveraged technology, and reshaped consumer behavior while retaining the core psychological drivers: scarcity, competition, anticipation, and reward that define the shopping frenzy. Together, Black Friday and Cyber Monday illustrate the remarkable adaptability of cultural phenomena, showing how tradition can evolve alongside technological innovation to create experiences that are both economically significant and culturally resonant. Cyber Monday has become an essential complement to Black Friday, extending the holiday shopping spectacle into the digital age, broadening participation and reinforcing the rituals, excitement, and anticipation that define one of the most celebrated periods in global consumer culture. What began as a uniquely American post Thanksgiving phenomenon eventually transcended its national origins, spreading to countries across the globe. The globalization of Black Friday is a fascinating story of cultural adaptation, economic opportunity, and the influence of technology. By the late 2000s and early 2010s, retailers worldwide had begun adopting the Black Friday model, tailoring it to local markets while preserving the core principles that made it successful in the United States: urgency, excitement, and opportunity. The first step in Black Friday's international expansion was largely driven by multinational corporations and online retailers. Companies such as Amazon, Walmart, and Apple had a presence in multiple countries, and their marketing campaigns naturally extended the Black Friday concept beyond U.S. borders. Online retail, in particular, played a key role. Global consumers could participate in Black Friday sales from anywhere with internet access, often before the event became officially recognized in their own countries. The ability to shop online for limited time deals created immediate international interest and introduced millions of consumers to the Black Friday tradition. Global retailers quickly realized that the day offered immense economic potential. By leveraging Black Friday, they could stimulate sales during the pre Christmas period, increase brand visibility, and compete in increasingly saturated markets. The event was not merely about replicating American culture, it was a strategic tool to boost revenue and capture consumer attention. Countries in Europe, South America, Asia, and even parts of Africa began adopting Black Friday promotions, often adjusting the timing, product offerings, and marketing strategies to fit local consumer habits. In Canada, for instance, Black Friday was initially adopted in the early 2000s. Canadian retailers recognized the appeal of cross border shopping, as many Canadians traveled to the US for deals, and they sought to provide local alternatives. By introducing Black Friday promotions domestically, Canadian stores retained consumer spending while creating a national ritual that mirrored American traditions. The day became a cultural phenomenon, blending excitement, shopping strategy, and the psychological drivers established in the US. In the United Kingdom, Black Friday initially met with skepticism. Traditional British shopping culture emphasized Boxing Day sales, which took place after Christmas rather than before. However, the influence of American media and multinational retailers gradually shifted perceptions. Retailers began introducing Black Friday deals online and in physical stores, emphasizing discounted electronics, fashion, and household goods. The event quickly gained popularity, with media coverage social media engagement, and widespread marketing campaigns amplifying its reach. Today, Black Friday is firmly entrenched in British retail culture, coexisting alongside traditional post-Christmas sales. Other regions adopted Black Friday with cultural modifications. In Latin America, for example, the concept was introduced through e-commerce platforms and multinational retail chains, often marketed as a major online shopping event. Brazil embraced the day as Black Friday Brazil, complete with localized promotions, advertising campaigns, and media coverage tailored to local consumer habits. Similarly, in parts of Asia, Black Friday was adopted as a digital-first phenomenon, with online sales driving participation more than physical store visits. In all cases, the core principles, scarcity, urgency, and anticipation, remained intact, demonstrating the universal appeal of Black Friday's psychological drivers. The globalization of Black Friday also underscores the role of social media and digital communication. Platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube enabled real-time marketing, user-generated content, and viral engagement. Shoppers could share deals, strategies, and experiences, amplifying participation and creating a sense of international excitement. Social proof, which had long driven participation in U.S. stores, now operates on a global scale. Seeing peers in other countries participate reinforces the idea that Black Friday is a culturally significant, desirable event. Economic globalization played a complementary role. Supply chains, logistics networks, and international shipping innovations allowed retailers to meet global demand efficiently. Products could be manufactured, marketed, and distributed internationally, ensuring that Black Friday deals were accessible to consumers worldwide. Retailers optimized inventory, timing, and shipping strategies to handle surges in demand, demonstrating how the globalization of Black Friday is as much a logistical achievement as it is a cultural phenomenon. Interestingly, the globalization of Black Friday also illustrates the adaptation of marketing and culture to local contexts. While the core elements, discounts, limited time offers, and anticipation, remained consistent, retailers tailored messaging, product selection, and promotion formats to fit local tastes, holidays, and consumer behavior. In countries where Thanksgiving is not celebrated, Black Friday was decoupled from the holiday narrative and framed purely as a commercial event. This flexibility demonstrates the adaptability of the concept and its ability to resonate across diverse cultural and economic environments. The international adoption of Black Friday also had broader implications for consumer culture. It created a sense of shared global participation, linking shoppers across countries in a simultaneous ritual of buying, competing, and celebrating. The event became more than a sales opportunity. It evolved into a global spectacle that reinforced patterns of anticipation, reward, and excitement. Consumers in different countries were participating in a common experience, amplifying the social and psychological dimensions of the day on an unprecedented scale. Moreover, the global spread of Black Friday influenced local retail calendars. Many countries adjusted marketing strategies and holiday promotions to align with Black Friday, creating new sales peaks in November. Retailers realized that participating in the global event offered both competitive and economic advantages, allowing them to capture early holiday spending and increase brand visibility. The day became a strategic milestone in the retail year, shaping inventory, marketing, and consumer behavior worldwide. The globalization of Black Friday also highlights the interplay between technology, marketing, and human behavior. Online platforms made participation accessible to anyone with internet access, while marketing campaigns leveraged urgency, scarcity, and social proof to stimulate engagement. Consumers, in turn, responded to the excitement, competition, and psychological rewards, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of participation and cultural adoption. The day demonstrates how a cultural practice can transcend borders, evolve in new contexts, and maintain its core psychological appeal while adapting to local conditions. In summary, the globalization of Black Friday represents a remarkable journey from a localized post-Thanksgiving phenomenon in Philadelphia to a worldwide cultural and economic event. Multinational corporations, online retail, and social media facilitated the expansion, while local adaptations ensured relevance and resonance. The psychological drivers, scarcity, urgency, competition, and anticipation, proved universally compelling, allowing the tradition to transcend national and cultural boundaries. Black Friday's global spread illustrates the power of commerce, culture, and technology to create shared experiences on an international scale, transforming a chaotic day of shopping into a worldwide ritual that continues to captivate consumers year after year. Black Friday is more than just a shopping frenzy. It is an economic juggernaut that reflects the intricacies of consumer behavior, corporate strategy, and the broader retail ecosystem. Understanding the economics behind Black Friday reveals why this single day, or now multi-day shopping period, has such a profound impact on businesses, employees, and entire industries. From revenue generation and inventory management to pricing psychology and labor economics, Black Friday is a masterclass in economic orchestration. At its core, Black Friday functions as a major revenue accelerator for retailers. For many businesses, the day represents a significant portion of annual sales. According to historical data from retail associations, some stores generate upwards of 20 to 25% of their annual revenue during the holiday season, with Black Friday often serving as the starting gun. For large retail chains, the volume of transactions can reach millions in a single day, making the economic stakes extraordinarily high. This concentration of sales within a narrow time frame incentivizes strategic planning, investment, and marketing to maximize profit while minimizing operational risks. Pricing strategy is one of the most important economic elements of Black Friday. Retailers often adopt a combination of loss leaders, dynamic pricing, and tiered discounts to stimulate demand. Loss leaders are highly discounted items designed to attract shoppers to stores or websites. While these products may be sold at minimal profit or even a loss, the strategy encourages consumers to make additional purchases at higher margins. This concept reflects the economic principle of cross-subsidization, where profits from one category offset discounts in another. Dynamic pricing, enabled by advanced analytics and e-commerce technology, allows retailers to adjust prices in real time based on demand, inventory, and competitor activity, further maximizing economic efficiency. Inventory management is another critical aspect. Black Friday's economic impact hinges on the delicate balance between supply and demand. Retailers must forecast product demand months in advance, coordinating manufacturing, shipping, and warehouse logistics to ensure sufficient stock for high demand items while avoiding overstock. The risk of stockouts can be costly, both in lost revenue and diminished customer trust, while excess inventory represents tied up capital and potential markdown losses. Advanced inventory management systems, predictive analytics, and data driven forecasting have become essential tools in modern Black Friday economics, allowing businesses to optimize stock levels for maximum financial impact. Labor economics also plays a central role. To meet the surge in demand, retailers often hire seasonal employees, extend work hours, and incentivize staff with overtime pay or performance based bonuses. This temporary workforce is crucial to operational success, but also represents a significant cost. Retailers must carefully balance labor expenses against expected revenue, ensuring that staffing levels can handle customer volume without eroding profit margins. Additionally, the day's economic impact extends beyond the stores themselves. Logistics providers, delivery services, and manufacturers all experience increased demand, creating ripple effects throughout the economy. Consumer behavior is a driving force behind Black Friday's economic success. Retailers understand that humans respond predictably to certain incentives, urgency, scarcity, and social influence. By creating limited time offers, emphasizing low stock alerts, and highlighting other shoppers' participation, businesses stimulate immediate purchasing decisions. These tactics leverage behavioral economics, particularly concepts such as loss aversion, which suggests that people fear missing out on deals more than they value potential gains. In practice, this drives higher conversion rates, increased basket size, and faster transaction velocity, all of which contribute directly to economic outcomes. Marketing spend is another significant economic consideration. Retailers invest heavily in advertising, promotional campaigns, and media coverage to attract shoppers. Traditional channels such as television, print, and radio remain important, but digital marketing has become increasingly dominant. Email campaigns, social media ads, influencer promotions, and targeted online ads allow businesses to reach specific consumer segments with precision, maximizing return on marketing investment. The interplay between marketing cost and sales revenue is carefully measured, as effective campaigns can generate substantial profit while less effective initiatives risk financial losses. The economics of Black Friday also extend to the broader retail ecosystem. Payment processors, financial institutions, and e commerce platforms benefit from the surge in transaction volume. Credit card companies, for instance, earn transaction fees on millions of purchases, while online marketplaces generate revenue through commissions and advertising. The supply chain experiences heightened activity, with manufacturers, distributors, and shipping providers all seeing increased demand. In essence, Black Friday functions as a coordinated economic surge that touches multiple sectors simultaneously, creating both opportunities and challenges across the retail landscape. The day also impacts pricing and profitability benchmarks. Black Friday is often the point when retailers move from operating in the red to in the black, a term historically tied to accounting practices. Achieving profitability during this period is symbolic and financial, influencing investor confidence, market perception, and corporate strategy. Successful execution demonstrates operational efficiency, marketing acumen, and consumer appeal, reinforcing a retailer's competitive position in the industry. Consumer expectations and economic behavior are closely intertwined. Over decades, Black Friday has conditioned shoppers to anticipate deals, plan purchases, and even defer buying until the day arrives. This phenomenon illustrates the concept of intertemporal choice. Consumers make economic decisions not only based on immediate prices, but also on anticipated future opportunities. Retailers exploit this behavior by structuring promotions strategically, timing offers to maximize urgency, and creating multi-tiered sales that encourage early engagement, repeat visits, and long-term loyalty. Globalization further amplifies Black Friday's economic significance. The rise of online platforms and international retail operations has expanded the market beyond domestic borders, allowing businesses to capture global consumer demand. International participation increases revenue potential, introduces competitive pressures, and encourages innovation in logistics, marketing, and digital infrastructure. Economically, Black Friday is no longer a single country event. It has become a multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon that influences consumer markets worldwide. Finally, the economic impact of Black Friday is visible in macroeconomic indicators. Retail sales data from this period are closely monitored by governments, economists, and investors as a bellwether of consumer confidence, disposable income trends, and overall economic health. Strong Black Friday sales signal robust consumer activity, while weaker than expected results can indicate caution or economic slowdown. In this way, Black Friday functions not just as a retail milestone, but as an economic indicator with broad implications for markets and policy. In summary, the economics behind Black Friday are complex and multidimensional. The day's success relies on pricing strategy, inventory management, labor allocation, marketing efficiency, consumer psychology, and global market participation. It is a highly orchestrated event where human behavior, corporate strategy, and technological innovation intersect to create extraordinary financial outcomes. From driving revenue surges and managing operational risk to influencing global markets and shaping consumer culture, Black Friday is an unparalleled example of economic coordination, strategy, and cultural impact. Understanding these economic dynamics provides insight into why retailers continue to invest heavily in Black Friday, why consumers participate year after year, and how the day has evolved from a chaotic post-Thanksgiving event into a carefully engineered engine of commerce. Beyond the realm of retail and economics, Black Friday has firmly embedded itself into popular culture, shaping media narratives, entertainment, and social behavior. From television shows and movies to news coverage, memes, and social commentary. The day has transcended mere shopping to become a symbol of consumerism, human behavior, and societal trends. Understanding how Black Friday operates within popular culture provides insight into its broader significance, reflecting both fascination and critique of the frenzy that surrounds it. Television has played a central role in cementing Black Friday as a cultural phenomenon. News outlets have long covered the day, initially highlighting the chaos and crowd related incidents, but gradually emphasizing record breaking sales, bargain hunting strategies, and the excitement of shoppers. Morning shows, evening news segments, and lifestyle programs often showcase early morning lines, crowded malls, and the most sought after products. These portrayals are simultaneously informative and entertaining, creating a narrative that captivates viewers even if they are not participating directly. The media's role in shaping perception cannot be overstated. By consistently framing Black Friday as a noteworthy, dramatic event, television has transformed shopping into a shared cultural spectacle. Movies and television shows have also incorporated Black Friday into storylines, often using it to highlight consumer behavior, holiday chaos, or comedic situations. Films and sitcoms frequently depict characters navigating crowded stores, engaging in frantic bargain hunting, or humorously competing for popular items. These depictions exaggerate both the intensity and absurdity of the event, reinforcing its status as a recognizable cultural touchstone. Through these portrayals, Black Friday becomes a lens through which audiences explore broader themes such as materialism, human competition, and holiday traditions. Advertising and marketing further embed Black Friday in popular culture by turning the event into a media spectacle. Retailers craft campaigns that reference social trends, popular products, and cultural touchstones, blending commerce with entertainment. For instance, holiday themed advertisements often depict humorous or heartwarming scenarios centered on Black Friday shopping, creating narratives that resonate with audiences emotionally and culturally. This integration of marketing and cultural storytelling enhances the day's visibility and reinforces its symbolic significance beyond pure retail activity. Social media has amplified Black Friday's role in popular culture to an unprecedented degree. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter allow consumers to document, share, and comment on their Black Friday experiences. Memes, viral videos, and trending hashtags celebrate both the thrill and the chaos of the day, creating a global dialogue that extends the cultural reach of the event. Social media acts as both a reflection and a driver of cultural significance. Posts highlighting clever deals, competitive antics, or humorous mishaps become part of the collective narrative, influencing perceptions and participation year after year. Black Friday has also inspired artistic and literary commentary. Writers, social commentators, and cultural critics examine the day as a symbol of consumerism, capitalism, and societal priorities. Essays, op-eds, and books explore themes such as material desire, economic inequality, and the tension between tradition and commercialization. By framing Black Friday within broader cultural critiques, authors and journalists elevate it beyond a mere shopping day to a phenomenon worthy of reflection and analysis. The day's portrayal in media and culture also reflects shifting societal values. Initially, coverage emphasized chaos and disorder, focusing on crowds, traffic, and aggressive behavior. Over time, narratives have evolved to balance excitement and critique, highlighting both the thrill of deals and the potential excesses of consumer culture. Reality shows, documentaries, and lifestyle programs examine the human side of the event, emphasizing personal stories, strategic shopping plans, and emotional highs and lows. These portrayals humanize participants and provide audiences with relatable narratives that reinforce Black Friday's cultural significance. Humor plays a significant role in shaping Black Friday's cultural image. Memes, comedic sketches, and satirical articles often exaggerate the frenzy, depicting shoppers fighting over limited items or engaging in absurdly elaborate strategies. Humor serves both to entertain and to normalize the experience, creating a shared understanding of the day's intensity and social dynamics. By combining relatability and exaggeration, comedic portrayals reinforce cultural engagement and maintain Black Friday's status as a topic of widespread conversation. Retailer branding also contributes to popular culture. Major stores and e-commerce platforms leverage the event to build identity, loyalty, and cultural relevance. Iconic campaigns, signature products, and memorable promotions become part of the public consciousness, transcending the shopping context. Consumers associate certain brands with Black Friday experiences, further embedding the day into cultural memory. These associations create lasting impressions, making the event a recurring topic of anticipation and discussion. Another fascinating aspect is Black Friday's integration into holiday rituals. Beyond shopping, the day has become part of cultural storytelling around Thanksgiving and the broader holiday season. Families and friends often plan Black Friday outings as shared experiences, turning shopping into a form of social bonding. These rituals reinforce the cultural dimensions of the day, making it more than just a commercial activity and establishing it as a participatory event with social and emotional significance. The day also influences fashion, lifestyle, and technology culture. Consumers anticipate product launches, exclusive deals on electronics, and trendy items that define the season. Black Friday coverage often highlights cultural trends, from the latest gadgets to fashion must-haves, making it a showcase for popular tastes and societal interests. Retailers, media, and consumers collectively contribute to the cultural narrative, transforming products and promotions into symbols of contemporary lifestyle and desire. Internationally, the cultural impact of Black Friday mirrors its American origins, but is adapted to local contexts. Countries adopting the event often combine imported practices with native retail traditions, creating hybrid cultural experiences. Media coverage, social media participation, and marketing campaigns all contribute to shaping the perception of Black Friday as both a commercial and cultural milestone, emphasizing excitement, participation, and social engagement. Finally, Black Friday's presence in popular culture underscores the interplay between commerce and societal narrative. It is simultaneously celebrated and critiqued, embraced for its excitement and questioned for its excess. Through media, entertainment, social commentary, and personal experience, the day has become a cultural mirror, reflecting consumer habits, societal values, and human behavior. Its impact extends beyond economics. influencing conversations, social rituals, and global media discourse. In summary, Black Friday's role in popular culture demonstrates its evolution from a shopping day to a symbol of consumerism, excitement, and societal reflection. Television, movies, social media, advertising, humor, and international adaptation all contribute to the narrative, making the event a shared cultural experience that resonates far beyond the retail world. By examining Black Friday through the lens of popular culture, we gain insight into why it captures the collective imagination, sustains attention year after year, and remains a fixture of global conversation, storytelling, and entertainment. The evolution of Black Friday is inseparable from the rapid advancement of technology over the past few decades. From the early days of physical flyers and newspaper ads to the sophisticated digital infrastructure that drives today's multi platform shopping events, technology has continually transformed the way consumers experience Black Friday. Understanding this evolution highlights the interplay between innovation, consumer behavior, and retail strategy, revealing why the event has grown from a chaotic local tradition into a global, data driven phenomenon. In the early stages of Black Friday, technology played a relatively modest role. Retailers primarily relied on print media, newspapers, flyers, and catalogs to advertise sales. These methods were effective for their time, creating anticipation and informing local consumers about deals. However, information dissemination was limited to specific geographic regions, and shoppers often relied on word of mouth, radio announcements, and physical mail to plan their purchases. Despite these limitations, even early technological tools enabled retailers to reach larger audiences than personal networks alone, setting the stage for future expansion. The first major technological shift came with the rise of personal computing and internet access in the 1990s. As more households gained access to computers and online connectivity, retailers recognized the opportunity to extend Black Friday beyond physical stores. Early online promotions and e-commerce websites allowed consumers to browse products, compare prices, and place orders remotely. This digital transition democratized access, enabling shoppers in suburban and rural areas to participate in Black Friday sales without traveling to urban retail hubs. The foundational principles of scarcity, urgency, and competition remained, but technology introduced unprecedented convenience, reach, and efficiency. The early 2000s marked the formal introduction of Cyber Monday, a direct result of technological evolution. Retailers observed that consumers, after returning to work with high speed internet, were increasingly shopping online following the Thanksgiving weekend. By creating a dedicated day of online promotions, businesses tapped into both behavioral trends and technological capabilities. Cyber Monday complemented Black Friday by offering digital access to deals, providing a platform for strategic planning, and allowing participation without the physical stress of crowded stores. Technology, in this case, was not merely an adjunct to commerce, but a catalyst for expanding the scope and scale of holiday shopping. Advancements in mobile technology further accelerated Black Friday's evolution. Smartphones, tablets, and mobile apps allowed consumers to engage with promotions, browse products, and make purchases from virtually anywhere. Retailers developed mobile-optimized websites, push notifications, and apps with exclusive deals, creating an interactive and personalized shopping experience. The immediacy and accessibility of mobile technology intensified competition as consumers could react instantly to price drops, limited time offers, and flash sales. The day became more dynamic, with real time consumer engagement and adaptive strategies driving both sales and cultural participation. Data analytics and artificial intelligence represent another critical technological driver. Modern retailers collect vast amounts of information about consumer behavior, preferences, and purchasing patterns. Using predictive analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, businesses can forecast demand, optimize pricing, and personalize recommendations. During Black Friday, these tools enable retailers to manage inventory efficiently, tailor promotions to individual shoppers, and anticipate trends before they peak. Technology transforms the event from a reactive sales surge into a strategically orchestrated operation where every click, view, and purchase is monitored and leveraged to maximize outcomes. Social media has emerged as a powerful technological force shaping Black Friday. Platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter serve multiple functions: marketing channels, information sources, and cultural amplifiers. Consumers share deals, strategies, and experiences in real time, creating peer-driven social proof that reinforces participation. Retailers use social media analytics to gauge sentiment, adjust campaigns, and engage audiences dynamically. The combination of digital connectivity and user-generated content turns Black Friday into a communal, interactive experience, extending the spectacle far beyond physical stores or static websites. Technology has also enhanced the logistics and operational infrastructure behind Black Friday. Advanced inventory management systems, warehouse automation, and real-time tracking allow retailers to handle unprecedented transaction volumes efficiently. Shipping companies and delivery services leverage route optimization, predictive demand modeling, and automated sorting to ensure that millions of packages reach consumers on time. The technological backbone supporting Black Friday ensures reliability even as participation scales globally and transforms what was once a chaotic, high-stress event into a more predictable, organized, and manageable experience. E-commerce platforms have further changed the economics and accessibility of Black Friday. Marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, and Alibaba provide centralized digital hubs where multiple retailers compete simultaneously, offering consumers transparency, competitive pricing, and convenient access. Features such as deal alerts, wish lists, and real-time stock notifications enhance engagement and drive urgency, while technological infrastructure enables secure, rapid transactions at scale. These platforms effectively globalize the event, connecting consumers and sellers across continents and creating a truly worldwide shopping phenomenon. Technology has also influenced behavioral strategies among consumers. With access to price comparison tools, deal aggregators, and mobile notifications, shoppers can plan purchases meticulously, set alerts for specific products, and execute multi-platform strategies. The interplay of anticipation, convenience, and real-time information transforms shopping from a spontaneous activity into a sophisticated, data-informed endeavor. Retailers, in turn, respond with dynamic marketing, flash deals, and targeted promotions, creating a continuous feedback loop between technology, consumer behavior, and sales outcomes. Moreover, augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, VR, and other emerging technologies are starting to redefine the shopping experience itself. Retailers experiment with AR product previews, interactive virtual stores, and immersive digital experiences that blend entertainment with commerce. These innovations enhance engagement, provide richer product interactions, and create novel ways for consumers to participate in Black Friday, highlighting the ongoing evolution of the event in response to technological possibilities. In summary, technology has been central to Black Friday's transformation from a regional shopping event into a global, multi-platform phenomenon. From early newspaper ads and catalogs to mobile apps, social media, AI, and logistics automation, each technological advancement has expanded access, increased efficiency, and intensified engagement. Technology amplifies the core principles of Black Friday: scarcity, urgency, competition, and excitement, while enabling new forms of personalization, interactivity, and global participation. Black Friday's evolution illustrates how commerce, culture, and technology intersect to create experiences that are simultaneously economic, psychological, and social. The event today is a sophisticated orchestration of human behavior and digital innovation, blending tradition with technological progress to captivate consumers worldwide. As technology continues to advance, Black Friday will likely evolve further, continually redefining what it means to participate in the world's largest shopping spectacle. Black Friday, despite its immense popularity, has faced persistent criticism and controversy over the years. One of the most frequently cited issues is the extreme consumerism it promotes. Critics argue that the event encourages materialism and prioritizes spending over meaningful holiday experiences. Instead of focusing on family, gratitude, or giving, Black Friday centers on acquiring products at discounted prices, often leading to excessive consumption and waste. Media coverage, highlighting frenzied crowds and competitive behavior, reinforces these critiques, suggesting that the event sometimes brings out the worst in consumer culture. Another major controversy is safety. Black Friday has a long history of injuries, stampedes, and even fatalities resulting from overcrowded stores and aggressive behavior. Retailers have struggled to balance the excitement of doorbuster deals with crowd management and security measures. High-profile incidents have drawn national and international attention, creating discussions about corporate responsibility, event planning, and ethical marketing practices. While improvements have been made through crowd control, staggered openings, and online alternatives, safety concerns remain a central criticism of the day. Labor practices are also frequently questioned. The enormous surge in shopping requires additional staffing, long hours, and sometimes intense working conditions for retail employees. Seasonal workers, often hired on temporary contracts, are expected to manage extreme crowds, handle high-pressure sales, and work extended shifts. Critics argue that this can exploit workers, particularly when wages, benefits, and working conditions are inadequate relative to the demands of the day. Retailers must balance profitability with employee well being, an ongoing challenge in the economics and ethics of Black Friday. Finally, environmental impact has become a growing concern. The massive production of consumer goods, combined with increased packaging, transportation, and returns, contributes to carbon emissions, waste, and overconsumption of resources. In recent years, sustainability advocates have criticized the cultural emphasis on Black Friday, encouraging alternative practices such as mindful spending, eco-friendly purchases, or opting for Buy Nothing Day initiatives. These criticisms highlight the tension between economic benefit and societal responsibility in the modern era. Black Friday has become one of the most critical events for retailers, significantly impacting annual revenue and market positioning. For large chains, the day can account for a sizable percentage of holiday season sales, sometimes determining whether a company ends the year in the black. Retailers invest heavily in marketing campaigns, store operations, inventory management, and staffing to maximize profits during this concentrated period. The financial stakes are high, with performance on Black Friday often scrutinized by investors, analysts, and corporate leadership. The event also drives innovation and competition. Retailers use Black Friday as an opportunity to experiment with pricing strategies, promotional formats, and customer engagement techniques. Limited time discounts, flash sales, and loyalty program incentives are tested during this period to assess effectiveness and drive sales. The competitive nature of the day pushes retailers to differentiate themselves, offering unique products, exclusive bundles, or personalized promotions to attract customers. These strategies often influence marketing practices for the rest of the year. Operationally, Black Friday presents both opportunities and challenges. Retailers must coordinate logistics, inventory, staffing, and digital infrastructure to accommodate surges in demand. E-commerce adds additional complexity, requiring robust website performance, secure transactions, and efficient fulfillment systems. Mismanagement can lead to stockouts, frustrated customers, or reputational damage. Conversely, successful execution can strengthen brand loyalty, increase market share, and generate substantial profits. Black Friday has, therefore, become a critical benchmark for operational excellence in retail management. For consumers, Black Friday represents both opportunity and challenge. On one hand, shoppers gain access to significant discounts, exclusive deals, and limited time offers, allowing them to stretch their budgets and acquire products that might otherwise be out of reach. The day provides a sense of excitement and accomplishment, especially for those who strategize effectively and secure coveted items. The psychological thrill of timing purchases perfectly or winning a deal is a major motivator, driving participation year after year. On the other hand, the day can be stressful and overwhelming. Crowds, long lines, and competition for popular products often create tension and anxiety. Consumers may feel pressure to spend impulsively, driven by scarcity, fear of missing out, or social influence. The experience can also lead to overconsumption, debt accumulation, and post purchase regret. Behavioral economics explains that these responses are influenced by urgency, reward anticipation, and social validation, all of which are heightened during Black Friday. Additionally, online shopping has mitigated some stress while introducing new challenges. Consumers now navigate websites, track flash sales, and compete in digital marketplaces. While convenient, online platforms amplify the speed and scale of decision making, requiring heightened attention and planning. Cyber Monday and digital extensions of Black Friday blur the line between opportunity and pressure, creating a continuous shopping environment rather than a single day of frenzy. Overall, Black Friday affects consumer behavior deeply, shaping expectations, habits, and cultural perceptions of value. The day embodies both economic empowerment and psychological complexity, illustrating the dual nature of one of the world's most significant shopping events. As we move further into the 21st century, the future of Black Friday is shaped by technological innovation, changing consumer behavior, and global market dynamics. Traditional in store shopping is increasingly complemented and sometimes replaced by online and mobile platforms. Retailers are investing in AI, predictive analytics, and personalized marketing to create more targeted, efficient, and engaging experiences for consumers. This evolution reflects a shift from chaotic, crowded store events to data driven, consumer centric operations. Sustainability concerns are likely to reshape the event as well. With growing awareness of environmental impact, many consumers and retailers are rethinking excessive consumption. Eco friendly promotions, digital coupons, and secondhand marketplaces are increasingly incorporated into Black Friday strategies. Future iterations may balance commercial objectives with social responsibility, reducing waste while maintaining excitement and consumer participation. The global expansion of Black Friday also continues. As more countries adopt the tradition, retailers must navigate diverse cultural norms, economic conditions, and regulatory environments. Localization strategies, digital accessibility, and culturally relevant marketing will be essential to sustain growth. Meanwhile, technological advancements like augmented reality, immersive virtual stores, and AI driven personalization will create new shopping experiences, making the event more interactive and tailored to individual preferences. Consumer behavior will also influence the future. The psychological thrill of competition, scarcity, and anticipation remains central, but modern shoppers expect convenience, transparency, and ethical business practices. Retailers that adapt to these expectations, combining technology, sustainability, and social engagement, are likely to thrive. In essence, Black Friday's future blends tradition with innovation, creating a dynamic, evolving phenomenon that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Black Friday has transcended retail to become a significant cultural phenomenon. It reflects broader societal values, including consumerism, anticipation, competition, and celebration. The event influences social rituals, family planning, and holiday traditions, shaping how people perceive the start of the festive season. For many, Black Friday has become a shared experience that combines excitement, strategy, and social interaction, making it as much a cultural event as a commercial one. Media, social networks, and entertainment amplify the cultural impact. Television shows, films, memes, and viral content depict the excitement, chaos, and humor of Black Friday, creating a global narrative that is widely recognizable. This portrayal normalizes both participation and critique, offering a shared cultural language through which society engages with consumerism, competition, and holiday tradition. The day also has symbolic significance. Black Friday represents the tension between material desire and economic behavior, highlighting how societal values influence individual choices. It functions as a cultural mirror, reflecting the interplay of psychology, commerce, and technology. Global adoption reinforces its cultural importance, linking diverse populations through a shared, participatory experience that is at once entertaining, competitive, and economically significant. For those listening to a YouTube video designed to help you fall asleep, Black Friday can be presented in a calming, almost hypnotic way. Imagine the rhythmic preparation of retailers, inventory moving through warehouses, websites updating deals, and advertisements rolling out in perfect timing. Picture the smooth operation of logistics systems, algorithms calculating stock levels, and global networks of shoppers calmly engaging with digital platforms. These mental images of order, planning, and structured commerce can be soothing, turning a chaotic day into a pattern of predictable rhythms. Consider the psychological aspects. Slowly, humans respond to patterns, scarcity, and social cues. Visualizing these in a controlled, abstracted way. Shoppers strategically planning, websites flashing deals, delivery trucks gliding along optimized routes can create a sense of calm observation by imagining Black Friday from a detached, orderly perspective. The frenzy transforms into a fascinating, almost meditative spectacle of organization and human behavior. Even the cultural and economic insights lend themselves to a gentle, reflective tone. Understanding how a day of high energy commerce emerged from history, psychology, technology, and culture can be framed as a narrative of human ingenuity and societal evolution. Each detail, from Philadelphia streets to global online markets, can be mentally traced in a slow, deliberate way, allowing the listener to relax, appreciate complexity, and gradually drift toward sleep. In this sense, Black Friday is not just a day of shopping. It becomes a canvas for understanding order, behavior, and societal patterns. Visualizing it as a structured, interconnected system rather than chaotic activity encourages reflection and relaxation. By the end of such a meditation, the mind can settle, lulled by the rhythm of history, technology, and human behavior, preparing for rest while still absorbing the richness of the topic. Now, with a smile on your face, you will have a good understanding of the entire history of Black Friday, how it began, how it changed, and what it truly means. From a day of financial panic to a worldwide ritual of consumption and community, Black Friday has traveled through time as both a mirror and a marker of who we are. Good night, dear friend. May your dreams be calm, your thoughts light, and your sleep restful. Goodbye for now. See you next time.